Having trouble with Ultramarines on the tabletop? Well, today we're talking about how you can deal with Roboute Gulliman in 8th edition 40k, and that's coming right up. Welcome back, and it is great to have you here. And look, if this is your first time here, here's what's up. If you want to improve your wargaming, make your tabletop battles more epic, and give your wargaming budget more power, then be sure to smash the subscribe button below and ding the bell. That way, you won't miss anything. Now, let's crack straight on into talking about how you can deal with Roboute Gulliman and his army of smurfs. Okay, so, given that row your boaty Gulliman down the stream is rather tough, rather strong, he's got a stupid strong sword, he's got a 3-up invulnerable save, he's got 9 wounds, so you can't even slow him down if you start taking wounds away, which kinda sucks. I'd much rather he has 10 wounds, and as he takes wounds, he slows down. Also, if he has 10 wounds, that means that you can shoot at him, even though he's a character. Okay, so, when you're dealing with Roboute Gulliman, he has one massive weakness, and that is that he does not have the infantry keyword. This means he can't ride in any transports. In addition to this, he doesn't have deep strike, so he is foot slogging it across the table if he wants to come close to you and get into close combat to you, where he does the most damage. Of course, a lot of the time, he is simply kept back and allows his buff to make it so that you've got re-rolls on all the things, which of course is quite annoying. However, there is a fundamental flaw here, and that is that if you kill all the things he's buffing, he might as well not have those buffs. Which of course means you are best off ignoring Gulliman himself and going for all the stuff that's around him, because his buffs don't improve their survivability. So rather than trying to pick him out, which is not going to be very easy given that you're going to have to use snipers, because he's going to be wrapped in a whole bunch of Space Marine goop. Well, at least by the time I'm finished with them, they'll be goop. And by ignoring him himself, you are maximizing the effectiveness of your shots, because, I mean, he's got a 3-up invulnerable save and 9 wounds, and in addition to that, when he dies, he's got a decent chance of coming back with D6 wounds, so killing him is not going to be all that easy, especially in smaller games. However, you don't need to kill him to nullify him effectively. Because he can't ride in transports, if you take down the things that he's buffing, he becomes much less of a threat. And the reason I say this is because while he does do a lot of damage on his close combat attacks, and his range attacks, it's okay for a bolter, let's be honest, but his real power is in the buffs that he gives. So if you take away the things that he's buffing, there's not much point, and he's not that quick. In addition to this, because he only has 6 attacks, that's 6, not, I nearly said 4, it means that if you're playing an army that has the option of taking large number of single wound models, such as Orcs, Imperial Guard are 2 classic examples of this, you can simply wrap him up in those, and he's not going to be able to do much, because against a squad of 30 Orc boys, it's going to take him at least 5 turns to kill them all by himself. Now, apart from just ignoring him, you have one other option, and that is to run circles around him. If you're playing on a table that has a bit of line of sight blocking terrain, and you're playing with an army that is highly maneuverable, then you have the option of simply breaking line of sight and forcing the Ultramarine player to break formation. Because by outmaneuvering him and forcing him to break formation and pull his bubble apart, you are reducing the effects of Roboute Gillyfish. In addition to this, if you're forcing your opponent to break formation, if they've bought transports and they're loading stuff into the transports to come after you, then you have taken a lot of the bubble away, giving you an opportunity to strike. Because while there's still a good chance that you won't be able to shoot at him because he's a character, the opportunity may present itself where you can get into close combat with him and lock him down and then pull the rest of the army away and deal with that. Because once you take his army away from him, he is far less of a threat. And the reason for this is, like I've been saying, Gilliman's real power is in the buffs that he gives to his fellow Ultramarines. So there you go, there's a couple of tactics that I use when dealing with Robbly Wobbly Gibbly Wibbly Man, and the bottom line is that you really need to just exploit the fact that his real power is in the buffs that he gives to his fellow Ultramarines. You can do this by either outmaneuvering him if you have the terrain and speed to do it, or to simply ignore him and shoot at all the other stuff, ignoring him completely. Because due to just how survivable he is and how tough he is, you really don't want to be trying to kill him because you're just wasting your shots on him. Take out the other stuff around him and he becomes much less of a threat. You can also exploit the fact that he can't go into transport and has to foot slog it, and by outmaneuvering him, forcing him to break the formation that he will have created during setup, you will be able to draw his forces away from him. Either the other player might put him in transports or use whatever means they have to get around. And of course, the absolute best way to deal with Papa Smurf on cheese is to, of course, refuse to play the guy that insists on playing Guilliman and doesn't have any real tactics there. Because if you refuse to play against him, if your opponent still wants to play you, they're gonna have to bring something else. I know that's not always an option for everyone, but it is always an option in some scenarios, because let's be perfectly blunt, Guilliman is proper cheesy in a lot of scenarios. So let us know what some of the tactics you use for dealing with Guilliman are down in the comment section below. And of course, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so we know that you like it, so we can keep making stuff that you like. And as always, if you want to improve your wargaming, make your tabletop battles more epic, and give your wargaming budget more power, then be sure to smash the crosshair and ding the bell. You'll subscribe and I'll be able to share with you more battle reports, terrain tutorials, and strategies to make your wargaming experience more epic. And I'll see you next time.